Have you ever noticed if you wake up and you're having a bad day, it just seems like things just snowball and seem to get like worse and worse? It got me thinking today about that quote, where attention goes, energy flows, right? It's like whatever we focus on just expands. If we're having a bad day and we focus on how bad it is, it just keeps getting worse and worse. You get out of bed, you're late, you're rushing, you bash your toe on the end of the bed, and then you get in the car, and then you realize you've got no fuel, and then there's traffic, and then all of the lights are red, and it just seems like everything you do just keeps getting worse and worse. But then at the same time, if you're having an amazing time, things can keep getting better and better until, and I used to have this really, really awful habit where when things were going good, I would almost create this belief in my mind of something bad is going to happen. And guess what happens? Something bad happens. And it's just like, it just really highlights how the world that we experience around us, the situations, the circumstances, we think it's by chance, right? We think we're just at the mercy of the universe. But so much of what happens in our lives, so much of the reality that we perceive, the circumstances that, people say just happen to us, are actually, I believe, created by our internal state and our beliefs, what we believe is going to happen. Because if we focus on a certain state, or we're feeling in a certain state, it comes true. And very often the things that happen to us are dictated by these subconscious beliefs we have. Like, so often we're not even aware of the stories that we're telling ourselves, right? We're not aware of that inner dialogue that we're saying to ourselves of something's going to go wrong here, or this is never going to work out for you, or whatever that kind of, inner dialogue that you have, that kind of repeated self-talk, and sometimes it's really damaging, and sometimes we don't notice it because it's almost become so habitual. And this was, it's been one of the scariest things for me as I've gone on this journey of meditation and self-awareness, and just becoming more aware of my own thoughts and realizing, like, wow, that's like an awful thing to say to yourself. But also you start seeing the correlation between the things that are happening. Like, I've seen this so often with the things that happen in my life and the things that I'm telling myself. And before, it would seem like chance. The things that happen, it's just like, oh, it's just luck. I just had a good day today. Or today was just bad luck. But now that I'm becoming more and more aware of the thoughts and that inner dialogue, I'm starting to see, holy shit, like, this is not chance. We think it's all chance, but it is driven by that inner dialogue. And this isn't, sometimes it's like people talk about with, manifestation, right? Or saying these affirmations to yourself. This isn't about it's not about you saying, I'm going to have an amazing day today, and suddenly you're going to have an amazing day. No, you're not. Because if you tell yourself you're going to have an amazing day, but deep down your inner dialogue is saying, yeah, as if you're going to have a fucking shit day, then you're going to have a shit day, because that's your internal belief. It's so crazy how much of an impact like these things can actually make on just the world around us, and how we perceive life. And the reality that we experience day to day. And I think, and for anyone watching this right now and thinking, oh God, yeah, well, that means I better force myself to be more positive. Like, that's almost the opposite of what you want to do. And it sounds contradictory. It's this kind of weird, like, paradox where, that forcing yourself is putting yourself in a negative state, because then this self-talk comes up and saying, oh God, you're always so negative and you need to talk better with yourself. That in itself is going to attract more negative circumstances towards you, because you're telling yourself that you're always thinking negative. You're in a negative state just thinking that. And it's only kind of, I talked about this in my last video, but it's kind of like you just have to let go of, if you recognize that you're thinking those things, you kind of have to just be okay with that, no judgment. Like, be okay with where you are right now. And, we're paradoxically being okay with where you are right now is what allows you to drop that. And I feel like just our natural states of being are peaceful, blissful. That is our natural state. And I feel like when we drop this expectation of, being a certain way, or being positive, or being this, or being that, we kind of just fall into this state of peace. And that state of peace then leaves space to attract the things that we actually want in our lives.